What's going on, guys? It is Throw It Out There Thursday. We're coming live from the Big A. That is Arkansas, but we are coming live from Arizona. We're going to be talking about ICC, which is in-car communication. That is actually not what you call it, but it is Throw It Out There Thursday. In order to talk about in-car communications, we're going to go over to Justin Smith.
ICC? That's actually what you call it, Steve.
That's what I call it. That's what I said. Yeah. It's not a real thing.
It's actually a pretty good term. I think we should all go with that, probably.
Thank you.
But not only is this about radio, in-car communication, car-to-car, and kind of how we do racing stuff, but that's kind of our go-to in and around your questions. This is a Throw It Out There Thursday. So we'd like to have all your questions thrown out there so we can answer them, and if we can't answer them, we don't know them, we're going to make fun of them. No. Or maybe we should. What do you think, Mitch? A little bit of both.
We should make fun of them.
I kind of agree with both, yeah.
Okay.
I like both.
We'll try and do both. So you guys throw this stuff out, and we will answer them today. So, communications. Most of the questions that we get are, what do you guys use in the race car? What do you guys use in your play cars? What do you guys use from car to car? And how do you get all of that stuff to kind of talk to a GoPro? Because as you see on our videos, we've got GoPro footage that's got in-car sound, or at least our communication between me and the navigator, or us bitching about stuff, or if we're going too slow and pissed off, us arguing about stuff, or I'm just pissed off in general and it's me bitching. But all of that is tied into GoPros. We'll talk about how that's connected, as well as the rest of the standard stuff. Now, we, as a race team and as a company since 1998, have been connected with PCI race radios. So yes, this is going to be shameless plug, and Jason's over there extending a radio tower so we can show you a little bit about base camp radios, but if he doesn't drop it on a car, then we'll be okay. Thanks, Jason.
So Justin, does that mean you got your listening ears on?
Yeah. Listening ears?
Listening ears.
This is right. Wait. Steve, you just keep getting away from me? What happens if I go like this?
He's trying to frame it.
Look at you going back and forth. This is fun. I'm going to go all over the place and see if you can follow. Good job, Josh.
Thank you.
Get closer and turn around. There's Mitch. There's Tony. Wait for it. There's Steve. And then there's back to Jason. Good God. He might get dizzy.
The framing, incredible.
Unbelievable.
Incredible.
So what I was going to say is that Steve's got a whole bunch of trucker slang he's going to be throwing out to you guys. If you can figure out what it is, maybe we'll throw you an extra t-shirt. I don't know. What was that last one?
Just make sure you got your listening ears on, Justin.
My listening ears?
Yeah.
Would that be that the radio's turned up?
That
volume?
means that you got your radio on, yeah.
I get a t-shirt.
Yeah, you do get a t-shirt.
Thank you very much. So we're PCI fans. Now there's other radio companies around, obviously Rugged and a few more. And they have great stuff, and there's nothing negative about any of those guys. But we've been PCI since the inception of anything we wanted to do. One of the reasons for that is that PCI is and has coined the term weatherman. Well, that is the original owner of PCI, was up on top of a mountain, and any of the Baja 1,500 races, because there's no communication in any of that stuff, they're up on top of a mountain for free to relay messages for all the racers. And they do that the whole time of the race. You can talk to them and ask your crew for help or whatever, but they will facilitate that for you. Weatherman is the go-to on all races, and that is PCI race radios. Scott Steinberger and everybody else over there does a great job. So I would recommend, shameless plug, again, not for us, but for PCI. If you have any questions on pricing and details on this stuff, because I am not a radio expert, then go and ask them. Mitch, what do you got for a question?
Jay Hups wants to know, in Baja, is it better to use a sat phone or a cell phone to communicate with the chase team?
Great question. Baja is its own animal, and there is very little cell service in Baja. So you go down there with a cell phone and expect to call your chase trucks, not gonna work. These guys are not gonna hear from you, and the radios are only line of sight. So at best, 30 to 40 miles on radios, unless you got mountains in the way. So they could be even worse. I would suggest a combination of cell phone, radio communications, and satellite communication, whether it's sat phone or satellite radio. There is a difference. Sat phones are sharing cellular style frequencies with satellites. that when you're down there prior to the race, work great, but when everybody shows up and completely clogs up the amount of bandwidth in the SAT systems, then usually SAT phones don't work as good as you expect. We use a SAT radio, which is called, what we call it SATCOM. But it's basically a dedicated radio signal in Baja that is satellite based, and it's your own signal, it's your own frequency that nobody else can kind of jump on the bandwidth and make it slower. Works great. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But to answer your question, right, J-Hubs, radio, cell, and SAT something, whether it's phone or radio, would be my suggestion. Steve.
We got a question from Charles Parameter. He said, I saw a video with new products coming out, and one was a bolt-on piece to make a sway bar adjustable. Will that be available for the 21 X3 and when?
Yes. Mitch, did you already do the test fitting on that?
Test fitting is done. We are waiting for a prototype to be in our hands. Once we have that and test that, then that product will be released.
It will probably be in the area of 1 to 3 months, somewhere in that.
My goal is by the end of the year, but
there you
things
go.
happen and we'll see, but that is the goal. So
Yes, in the works.
That's a big 10-4.
10-4, good buddy?
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
Okay, keep them coming, Steve. I know what that is. A-okay. Mitch.
side by each. My shocks are there getting the works with IQS and springs all the way from Canada.
Canada.
Freaking right, eh, boys?
Hey.
Hey.
Thanks for sending it in, man. Congratulations. Can't wait to hear what you like.
We've got
Josh?
someone that wants to join.
What do you got, Josh?
Chaseman993.
Now, would Chase Man mean that he's part of the chase team, so he has communication questions about chasing in races? Is that possibly?
We'll see. Here he is right now.
All right.
What's up, man?
Chase Man, are you on a race team? Chase Man, can you hear us?
Are you connected to your Bluetooth?
Hey man, we got no volume from you, buddy. That's a cool headliner though. I'm really liking the bottom of the bill of your hat, and the headliner's got some accessories in it. Nice truck. Can't hear you. Hey, play with the Bluetooth, call us back. Steve, you got more
Justin
trucker?
from what?
More trucker?
I got some trucker flavor if you want to. What flavor?
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
We
he
can
can
hear
hear him now.
You back?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem, man. What do you got going on?
So, I was at UTV World Championships in the UTV rally class with you guys,
Yeah.
and I got bit by the bug for the long distance desert racing. Wondering which, I'm going to probably mispronounce it, the Lawrence, which one you guys would prefer? The 7 or the 8-inch? I
Okay,
think's
so
what it is.
great question. First, let me congratulate you for being bitten by the bug to be broke the rest of your life now that you're racing anything in UTV. Congratulations.
Oh,
Number
trust
one.
me, I know.
Number one. Number two, I would buy the largest GPS you can find because it's going to make your navigator really love you. You know, we've raced 5-inch GPSs, we've raced the 7-inch GPS, and in the 7, you've got older style and you've got the touchscreen stuff, new stuff. I would suggest the new stuff in the 7s, but if you can afford it, go from a 7 up to a 10. It's basically a TV screen. I'll show you. When you get to a bigger diameter or bigger screen in any of these GPSs, if you turn around over here, Josh, take a look at that. Then now I've got it off obviously, but the fact that this thing is massive means that you get a lot of detail in the race course, and your navigator can tell you, hey, this is a tight 90 left instead of just calling out a 90 left. And it makes everything faster when you're driving the car if they can give you detailed notes instead of just general turns. So I would really suggest if you can float the money, just buy the bigger stuff. You're going to be way better off as a driver, and your navigator will be happy.
Okay, sweet. Thank you. I'll
You got it,
look
man.
into it.
Have a good one. Let us know
You too.
your t-shirt size and color. DM us, and we'll send it to you.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Awesome. Steve. Trucker.
Well, we got a hello from the real Big A, and that's Argentina. But we do have a question from Derek Siaba. He said, what flavor of go-go juice do you use in the race car? And he actually means gasoline, but I used go-go juice.
Yes, which is also a trucker term, right?
That is a trucker
Steve,
term.
I would expect to know by the end of this feed what your trucker nickname is going to be.
10-4, good buddy.
I'm putting you on the spot. I know I am, but and Mitch, we can all come up with terms for that.
White line fever, man.
White line fever?
Telling you.
What the hell is that?
It's real.
What does that mean?
White
Is
line.
that cocaine or what?
You make it
Chasing
whatever
the
you
dragon?
want. You're riding the white line as long as you're driving. So
I'm thinking maybe water line from high socks.
Now, Justin, what makes this thing go nickel-nickel?
Okay, so nickel.
Yep.
I won't say what that is because I know what it is. Okay.
We can call it a double nickel if you want.
VP racing fuel in our race car, C12 or C10, I forget what it is. But we could run pump gas in this because it is literally a crate engine that is sealed. We can't change the internals. It will run on pump gas. The reason that we run race gas is because when we do go to Mexico, we can't trust the fuel there, and you can't bring your own fuel into Mexico. Otherwise, they charge you an import tax, which is more than the fuel's worth. So you can't bring it, which means you run everything that's there. And I don't want to trust the octane rating on anything that's out of the pump over there and possibly hurt the motor. But what we can do is we can get VP in Mexico because they ship it in legally and we can get it from them. And just for that reason, we continue to run VP in any of their American races just for consistency, but that's the only reason. Mitch.
Ryan Bartlett wants to know, I have one of your spring kits on my Viking that y'all no longer make. So my question is, what happens if I was to ever have a problem with them and need them replaced or something?
Okay, so first thing I'm going to say, you're screwed. No, not really. You're fine. We're going to back it up no matter what. None of the components that we don't make, let me back that up. The components that are on there that are hard parts or machine parts, they don't fail. You're not going to have any issues with that. If you possibly had a coil spring settle, break, or have an issue, we have those on the shelf all the time. Even though that kit we don't make, we still have that spring. So you're good to go on all of it. No matter what, we're going to be here for you. Back to radios. Good buddy.
Did you ever test this thing on the big slab, Justin?
What is the big slab there?
That is the
Steve?
road, sir.
That's the road?
That is the normal road.
It's not very far off. Why wouldn't you just say the road as opposed to the big slab?
Hey, man, I'm a trucker.
Cody says, I got the fuel burning, wheels turning, and the noise pointed in your direction.
That's way better than anything Steve has said so far. Cody,
That's good.
would you like to come in here and guest on our feeds, which we're going to now call a shameless plug.
Shock Therapy
Let me
Guest?
think. STL.
Shock Therapy Live?
That's right. You guessed it.
Oh, an STL.
Yeah.
Not Saturday Night Live. We're doing
No,
Shock
but
Therapy Live.
the real STL.
There you go.
So back to radios before you guys have more questions, as Steve has really bad trucker stuff. So in our race cars, it's the same stuff that we run in any of our pre-runners for the most part and any of our play cars. We're going to run a PCI radio kit, which is going to be a Kenwood. Kenwood, ICOM, roughly the same. ICOMs are a little bit less expensive. Kenwoods are a little bit more waterproof, have more accessories, and we run the Kenwoods in all of our stuff. Intercoms, you've got intercom choices all over the board, but what we stick with is a race intercom from PCI that cancels out all the external noise, which means that you can't hear yourself talk in the intercom system. When you talk, only the other person can hear. In the place systems, you have background noise, but you can kind of hear yourself talking in the earpiece. That sometimes is easier for people who haven't used intercoms before. We prefer to have the race system because we don't want the external noises for 20 hours straight of exhaust notes and floored engines really plays on you. So we don't want any of that. In racing, they limit you to a 50 watt system, so you can't run 100 watt. But when it comes to base stations, like trucks, or if you're in the dunes or in your camp, you can get 50 to 100 watt base stations that will have more broadcast ability, and that way you can talk to people farther away. Josh, if you look at this antenna that Jason was nice enough to set up, So this antenna system right here actually extends another 15 feet or so. We only went up about 18 feet, but that antenna can be combined with this mount that you see that you just drive over with a tire. So you can put this under your motorhome, you can put it under your truck, wherever you park as a base station radio antenna. Add that to your Kenwood or other base station radio, and now you've got distance to be able to talk to everybody that's in the dunes or anybody that's in your group on whatever ride that they're at as a base. We use these on the chase trucks to try and broadcast out farther. Obviously, it works great when you have more antenna. Steve?
When you're out driving in the big mud, do you call in every yardstick?
Big mud. Would that be just off-road in general?
That's off-road in general, sir.
Because any trucker who leaves the asphalt is in the mud.
Is in the mud. Do you
Right.
do you call in every yardstick?
Yardstick. Mitch, what do you think a yardstick is?
I would guess every mile.
Every mile marker. He's got it. Every
good
mile
one.
marker.
Awesome. Mitch, what do you got?
Scott P. Havens wants to know, where do you recommend mounting the antenna?
So if you're talking about on the car, there are two choices. One, the best place to mount an antenna is in the center of the roof, just like this. The reason is that is basically a giant deflector or receiver for radio wave signals. And not unlike you see radio telescopes looking out in the middle of space trying to get signals back. Well, that big dish is just combining or confining or magnifying all of the signal into one spot. Same with radios. If you can throw it in the middle, then you're going to get more distance, you're going to get more clarity, everything is better. The other option, if you're not going to put it in the middle, which I don't think we have any, oh, we got a Honda over here. Of course, it's the Honda that has the crappier antenna. Yeah, it does work good though. So if you take a look back here,
the car,
we got
antenna.
a plastic roof, and so we didn't mount this antenna in the middle of the plastic roof. Plastic does not give you any advantages. It has to be a metal roof for that. But we've got this mounted on a rear tab. Rear tab or front tab or side tab, that's your second best option as opposed to center of the roof. Tabs usually would require a different antenna to be better, and those antennas are spring loaded. You'll see chrome plated spring on the antenna. They flex a little bit. That spring is part of the amplification for a tab mount, and those antennas work a lot better if you're going to mount it to a tab or a bolt-on system. So center of the roof, tab second. Everything below the roof is third. You want it as high as you can get it. Mitch, you got more?
Yeah, sure.
What do you got?
Elroy 909, are you guys able to take a quick look at my car at Glamis as far as ride heights and crossovers being correct?
We can absolutely take a look at that. We do that daily, so bring it by, and we will absolutely take care of it. Steve. Whoa, more Mitch.
So Steve's got something?
got trucker?
Got something
Oh,
good?
just want to know, when you're out in the big mud, do you ever see any gators?
In the big mud, which is off-road, right? Gators. Is a gator is it a cop or not? That's a bear.
No, so a bear is a police officer. So a gator would be a blown tire. Do you ever see any tire shrapnel while you're out in the big mud?
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, in this last race, we're coming around one corner, perfectly a blind corner at about 60 miles an hour. The previous lap, it was clear. The next lap, 2 complete spare tires, wheels, and a jack, right in the middle of the course. Somebody's not happy when they got back to the pits and they were missing all their crap. But yeah, so there's a gator.
That's more than
like
that's more than a gator.
more like
that's a
more
donut.
like
A donut in the side of the road, sir.
That's right. Mitch.
Let's see. Robbie Frazier, do you need FCC license for what you use?
No, and the reason that you do not use that or need that is because PCI race radios, Rugged, and the others carry the licensing for the frequencies that we use. So we're in a very narrow band, and sometimes that's hard because you get other teams that are on the same frequency as you. But like PCI and Rugged will try to have, they'll give out frequencies to all the dune guys and play guys and keep them kind of separated a little bit. But that might be the same frequency that a race team uses in Mexico. Well, they're never going to step on each other, so that's kind of why they separate that. Or they give one frequency to a team that only races Northern California, and they give the same frequency to a team that only races Baja. Now, we have had 3 of our own frequencies since 1998. And so we can go to a race and pretty much all of our frequencies are just us, but we might get somebody that's really close to one, gets a little dirty on one, and we'll get off of, say, frequency ST1 and we'll go to 2 and make sure that it's clean and give them the frequency that they were given. Sometimes Rugged and PCI don't talk too much about which frequencies they're sharing, and they might have an overlap. But Steve, what
We
do you
got
got
a
there,
question
big good buddy?
from Dom Galindo. He said, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
Does that have anything to do with
I don't know,
trucking
Dom,
or
it was
radios?
throughout their
or-
Thursday. He had a question, so I just
Very bored at home right now.
go back to Netflix, Dom.
Yeah. I don't even know how to answer that. Other than the woodchuck would definitely have a big woody
I do
no
have a
matter
serious question, though, Justin.
Yes.
Whatever happens if you get a
Steve?
black eye while you're out in the big mud?
what. Black eye.
And that's not from Jason
Mitch?
going over and smacking you.
Mitch, can you even guess what a black eye is?
I don't know.
I don't know what it is either, Steve. Steve, you might have won.
That is when one of your headlights goes out.
Oh, of course it is.
What happens when you get a
Duh.
black
I
eye?
was thinking
Makes
too
perfect
much into
sense.
that.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. So,
What
another
about a
question.
bear in the air?
A bear in the air? Ooh, damn.
Helicopter, of course, or
Ghetto
airplane,
bird? A
right?
ghetto bird in the air?
Yeah. Well, we can't say that anymore.
No, that's right.
It's very upsetting that we can't use all the terms that we want to use. Mitch,
Caleb Blazer wants to know, when you're racing, do you drive one-footed or two-footed?
I drive two-footed. The reason I drive two-footed is because turbo cars have lag, and you better be in the throttle while you're on the brakes if you want to have the power the second that you're off the brakes. So a lot of people in road racing call that trail braking, but they're basically braking to set the car up. What we're doing is the opposite. We're in the brakes and we're in the throttle while on the brakes so that it's on boost the second you lift off the brake. So two-footed is faster. One-footed, fine for play, not good for race. You're going to be last, guaranteed. Steve, trucker.
Do you recommend the ear cups with the PCI helmets?
Absolutely, that's what we run. Good question, Steve. What is your trucker name going to be? Just a reminder.
I don't know.
It might be Tube Sock, of course, but
yeah,
duh.
just be sock. Yeah,
Candy cane.
Candy
All
cane?
So to answer your question about ear cups, there are 4 ways that you can run a helmet system. One, you've got earpieces in the helmet with pads, just standard helmet pads. There's just 2 earphones in there and a mic. That's kind of standard issue. And that's fine if you have a car that's quiet and you're just playing around. But as soon as the thing is a race car and you're going hours and hours and hours and hours with a big exhaust on it, that ringing is going to destroy your ears. You're not going to be able to hear. You're going to get headaches. You're going to get pissed off that you're still in the race. So you want something quieter when it comes to ambient noise. The next step is foam inserts to your ears. You can put foam earplugs in that have pickups, and that can be tied into your helmet. That's step number 2. Next, you've got semi-custom earpieces, kind of like shooting earpieces that kind of twist into your ear and fit it really nice. Those are awesome, but they get sore, or your ears get sore after 7 or 8 hours. And then lastly, you've got ear cups, which is basically like what Steve has. If you take a look at this cup, picture this ear cup right here, fitted inside of your helmet. So what's cool about that is you don't have something inside your ear that gets really sore and bugs you while you're driving too long. You have something that's completely surrounding your ear, and it's cutting off all the exterior sound, which drives you nuts, and gets a clear radio signal or intercom signal. So I run ear cups. Anybody I know that's super serious runs ear cups. Yeah, they're expensive, but they're night and day when it comes to racing. I would highly suggest it. If you're just going in a play car, do whatever you want. Mitch.
BDI Geyser Racing wants to know, what was the top speed on this last course? Or on course. I don't know if he meant this last course, but he said on course.
If you mean us, I could turn the GPS on and look at it. I don't think it was over 80.
Yeah, Jason said 80.
80, low 80s, probably the max. And there was only like 1, maybe 2 spots that are 100% pin long enough to get it that high. But we were probably like 60 to 70, 15 times in that race, somewhere in some of the washes. I would guess, though, that it was probably 20 mile an hour slower than you were, because BDI kicked ass, that's for sure. Steve.
Who is the travel agent on the other end of the radio?
So, for us in the team, we've got one person designated to be radio guy per truck. Nobody else is kind of allowed to talk because different personalities on the radio can get confusing, and some guys in our team can talk too much. Some guys in our team talk too little. And so we kind of want someone that's like consistent, not going to get wound up, and analytical. So Tony, I think you're one. Jordan's another, and Jeff, depending on how many trucks and things we have, but that's who's on our team. Steve, you got more?
Do you drink any 100-mile coffee in the morning before you do a race?
No, I never drink coffee because it's a diuretic and it's going to take water out of your system. So you want to make sure you want to do water, or some sort of hydration. And you should have been doing it for days beforehand, not the day before or the morning of. That just makes you pee. Doesn't give you anything good. Mitch.
Richie Rich 4x4 wants to know best first race for someone just getting into the sport.
It depends on the state that you're in, but if you're in Arizona, I would suggest AZOP. Any of the races that they run, other than I would not pick the Cinders for your first race, because if you make a mistake in a corner, then you hit a tree and your car's junk. So I would pick a race that doesn't have the obstacles. If you're in California, there's other series. If you're back east, then I have no idea what the series are, but I would pick a very mellow, no frills racing series that isn't going to have very many people in there. Get your feet wet and then step up to another one where the competition's higher and work your way up. That's the best way. Steve.
How much go-go juice does the race car use specifically in Baja?
So we, depending on the horsepower level that we choose for the race, we can turn the power up or down. Obviously, if the power is up, then we get less mileage. If the power is down, we get better mileage. Most cars, I'm not gonna tell you what our car gets because we're proud of it, but I'll tell you what most UTVs get, and that's gonna be between 6 and 8 miles a gallon, depending on the flash that they have, or whether it's a Polaris, or whether it's a Can-Am, for instance. But anywhere between 6 and 8 miles a gallon. You can do the math, and on a Baja 1000 race, you're probably gonna fuel up 3 times at least, depending on the size of the fuel cell. And that's another thing. Every car's got more fuel or less fuel than the other. Who knows what they have for a fuel cell? And that would determine the number of times you fuel up. Mitch.
Alfredo wants to know, new to the UTV world, I can't decide between the Smart Shocks or regular shocks on the Can-Am 2022. Can you break down the difference? What's the best?
So I know that we as a business have gone back and forth on whether we recommend Smart Shocks or not. Where are we at this moment, and why, Mitch?
Personal opinion, throw that out there. Mm-hmm. I still like the non-Smart Shock because you can have the ability to add IQS to it. The Smart Shocks are going to be really cool. I don't think we're quite there yet on that, but I still would prefer the older style Can-Am having the ability to add IQS to it to have the adjustment on the fly that way versus the Smart Shock, just my opinion.
Now, so I know the answer, but I'm going to ask like everybody else, right? So, why would you suggest IQS that you can adjust on the dash over computer-controlled shocks?
Why would I suggest that?
Yeah, I mean, why are you recommending a standard not Smart Shock with IQS over a Smart Shock?
Because we've tested it, we have time into it, we have everything dialed in for it as of right now.
You're just saying it rides better?
It does ride better, but I like the idea of having seat time into it for more time than we do on the Smart Shock stuff, but not to say that the Smart Shock stuff is capable of that coming along.
So you're kind of confusing me, and I know what you're talking about, but I think what you're trying to say is that the best riding quality out of a Smart Shock car, if we do all the work to it, versus a not Smart Shock car with all of the work that we do to it and IQS, you would prefer the non-Smart with IQS for ride quality reasons and adjustability?
Correct.
Versus Smart Shock with everything you can do to it.
Correct.
At this time. But next year, year after, Smart Shocks might get way better, way smarter.
Yep.
And that could change.
Yes.
Okay, so for today, then our recommendation is non-smart with work and IQS. We feel is a little bit better than Smart Shock completely worked, although they're fairly close. What would you say their difference is in percentage? 5%, 10%?
I don't even
In
think
overall
it's,
ride quality.
I mean, maybe 10%, if
So
that.
it's small. It's just you're splitting
It's very
hairs.
small. I like the standard Can-Am style of that versus just I don't know. I'm trying to get too in depth with it, I guess. I'm trying to speak of it in my own way, but I guess it doesn't really make sense. But
So Smart Shocks are a $5,000 upgrade plus our work, which is say another $1,500, right?
And
So
you
you're
can-
$6,500 in it versus a non-smart with our work is $1,500 plus IQS at $2,000, so you're $3,500. So you're actually less money in better ride quality a little bit in a non-smart when it comes to what we do.
yeah,
But you also can do-
stock to stock. If you do IQS on a older style Can-Am, you're still going to be less than the actual Smart Shock car would be without having anything done to it, and it rides better.
Money.
Yeah.
Yep. Steve.
You can also, though, do Smart Shock and IQS together. We have done
Yes.
that quite a bit. So you can still put IQS on a Smart Shock.
Which gives you 3 times the adjustability.
Correct. Instead of 3 adjustments, you have 9.
Instead of 3 adjustments, you have 9.
You have 9.
Got it. All right, hopefully that answered it. Sorry we went sideways on that. Steve, you got more questions, Trucker?
No trucker question. Terry Nash wants to know, why not just use a tablet, iPad, and use the Lawrence or Garmin app? My mini iPad with 8-inch Retina display works great for our trail riding purposes. Don't know about racing. Nash Rambler 10.8, 10.10 on Facebook? I don't know.
Okay, so, but you're talking about navigation. We're really not talking about that yet. I mean, we're in a little bit we're talking about navigation, but we're talking about more communications at the moment, like intercom, radio, that kind of stuff. When it comes to GPSs, choose your GPS of choice, man. You can, for me, bigger the better when it comes to racing. We run a Lawrence. You can run an iPad with like LeadNav or any other app on there. You have to have the ability to record positions, dangers, left turn, right turn, all kinds of stuff that we need for racing. You may not need that for play. But when it comes to navigation, do whatever you like. When it comes to communication, we prefer PCI and some of the things that we've mentioned. Steve.
A couple people have asked, why PCI over rugged?
Well, and as I said in the beginning of this video, we've been with PCI since 1998. PCI has been at every single off-road race from that point on that I know of, and certainly before that. They're also the starter and founder of Weatherman. So any other races, you've got Weatherman communication at all times to help you when you have issues or you're hurt or you need to communicate when you don't have radio communication. Weatherman is basically PCI. And their customer service is amazing. Not that Rugged isn't, but we have been with them forever and we choose to stay there. Rugged has good products too, and I'm sure they have good service. We just don't. We just are PCI to the core. That's basically the only reason why we suggest that. You guys make your own choice, but I think if you call everybody around, you'll probably be in the same boat as us. Mitch.
Frontline Power Sports, do you filter the CVT system or run a particle separator for the intake? Pros/cons to both.
Okay, particle separators we do not run because they require electrical energy to do their job, and electrical power is at a premium in a race car. You can run the batteries dead in race cars when you run so many fans and other lights and things like that. There's not enough power to run it all, and a particle separator is just a negative on the power side. We don't do that. We run the air intake for the filter assembly on the engine into the cab, which is super clean. If you run it behind the firewall, then you get all the dust off the back tires, and obviously it's going to get dirty. So we do not filter electrically the clutch, but we run the factory filter screen, which is a material. Come around here, Josh. Actually, go on this side, the passenger side. So we run the factory material right here, this like outerwear material. We run that to filter the clutch, and we get 0 dirt and particles in the clutch. We run about 4 times as much square inch and area of filtration for it because we don't want to restrict the amount of air that's coming in, and we don't want any dirt as well. So that's worked great for us, and not buying a really expensive electrical power sucking device. is important on a race car. That's why we don't do it. Now, not to say that they don't work great. Particle separators work great. They do. But we get away with not having to have one for a lot of reasons, and I just want to let you know. Another question that people ask us all the time is, how do you have GoPros on the vehicle recording at all times and recording your conversation in the GoPro footage from the intercom and your radio stuff? Because a lot of guys want to hear themselves when they're playing, talking smack amongst their buddies, and we need it for video, we need it for other reasons too. But I'm going to bring Tony in. So Tony Geck is team manager for the race team. Hi, Tony.
Hey, how's it going? Yep.
How's it going?
Good.
So I don't know how this works because it's electrical, and Tony knows everything electrical. So explain to people what they're going to need to buy to get a GoPro to communicate with the intercom system.
Gotcha. Okay, so
Look right over here, by the way. These guys,
yeah,
they're right there. They're looking at you.
Okay,
Yeah.
come on over here, Josh. I'll give everybody an example. So what we have here is a GoPro, I believe it's a Hero, and this little piece here is a GoPro mic adapter. So basically, this would plug into the side of the camera.
Here, hang on a second, Tony. I'll hold the mic for you so you get two
thank you.
hands, okay?
So, and then on the back of the intercom, you have this plug here, and I highly recommend a PCI noise filter to get rid of any.
So what does a noise filter do?
It normally like blocks out like engine noise or like outside noise or anything unwanted that wouldn't be in your audio. Ooh. So
what's wrong with you, Tony?
Nothing. I'm good. So this would be a cable that you would run in line to the back of the intercom, and then your mic jack was simply just plug into there, and then now you have all your audio recorded while you're.
Well, that seems pretty simple. Where do you buy all the cables?
Everything from PCI. The GoPro adapter is from, I believe, from GoPro.com, I believe. So
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought you were going to go like super complicated. It's hard.
No, yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Super easy. Anybody can buy it.
You know what's really, really, really hard though is taking all of that and actually editing it together, which is Josh, who usually does not like to be on camera.
Here I am.
Look at all this stuff. You're so cute. You should be on camera even more. We'd have more. We'd have more girl viewers.
Or dudes.
Or cute dudes. Mitch, you got anything for us?
There's been quite a few questions about
Let's do rapid fire.
the new 4-cylinder Pro R Razor
Oh yes.
and the video
yes.
that just came out from Hooligan.
Badass video, don't you think?
I watched a couple minutes of it and then I fell asleep, so I haven't watched the rest of it. But yes.
Are you trying to say that it was boring? It's not boring.
No, it was not boring. I was literally laying in bed and I'll lay there and I'll have my phone up like this and then I shut my eyes and then it's over. Game over.
All right.
So
what can I say about that? Number one, badass video. They did a great job. They stepped it up this year, don't you think, Josh?
I have not watched any videos this week. I have
You haven't watched it?
40 of
Dude.
my own.
I think the lowriders were pretty sick in it.
They did a pretty good job on that, man. Congratulations, those guys killed it. I think that the new Pro R is pretty badass. We don't have any information for you that is something you can't see on the video. Can't tell you about any of that. But it is a large CC 4-cylinder, normally aspirated, in the range of 220 horsepower, no turbo. Cool gearboxes and transmission stuff that's in it. Different suspension geometry that, as you can see in the air, you don't have any tow issues, and you don't have any camber issues or in a bad way on that car. So we're excited to see one. We should get one, I wouldn't say before you guys can, but immediately as soon as the dealership's got it, we're gonna have it. And we'll do an unboxing on that car, and also after we do some testing, we'll give you a little bit of feedback. But should be badass. I think you guys will dig it. A lot of the stuff that's on it is amazing, and we're looking forward to it. Good buddy, what do you got?
From Manuel Silva, he said, off subject, but how does Justin feel about light truck tires for newer, heavier side-by-sides?
Zero, never, never, never. No, light truck tires, no. Even a light truck tire sidewall is so incredibly stiff. Plus, the tread pattern is very, very square, and that is the opposite of what you want on a UTV. UTVs track better, drive better, and are faster, more power to the ground. A mile an hour is going to go up if the tread is fairly rounded. You guys do not go square, square, square light truck tire. not a good idea. I mean, if you're driving on the street all day and that's all you ever do, then fine. Other than that, never do it. Mitch.
A good question. Nick F. Windsor wants to know, do you think the Pro R stuff will be transferable to the Pro XP?
No, not even close. Not one thing is going to transfer over. I don't think that a switch in that car to turn something on will transfer over, so no.
I'm very excited to see that because it's a new car and we get to nerd out and go crazy on it.
We will definitely nerd out on that car.
Super pumped on that.
Good, buddy.
Jimmy Page, and not the one from Led Zeppelin, he was here last week. He said, not a question, but I was down there on the 11th having the ride improvement system, spring kit, sway bar links installed on my 2014 Razor. Your products are amazing. They did everything you said they would. My Razor handles 100% better. Thanks again, you guys. You are awesome.
Thank you very much for chiming in. That's very cool. You know, we do this stuff day in, day out. We probably have 20 shop customers a day. We have about 150 website orders a day. And we get 1, 2 a day people that will actually call us back and go badass. And it's really cool to hear from everybody when they love it. We know that 99% of the people that buy our stuff do. It's hard. People are busy. They don't have time to call back and say, right on. Thank you for doing that. That was really awesome. Mitch?
Mr. Ramp Rat.
Oh, yeah, Ramp Rat.
Wants to know about the Speed UTV.
Oh, God.
Wow. So here's what I know about the Speed UTV. Absolutely nothing that you don't already know by watching videos from Robbie. That's what I know. Sorry, can't help you. We got some good video of it at the race. And they were driving the sucker hard, I'll guarantee you that. Josh, epic footage of Speed UTV in the race.
Agreed.
Yes, it was killer.
Great job, Joshy.
I sent some screenshots to Robbie as a teaser, and you will probably see some of Josh's video of the Speed UTV in the race coming soon on Speed's Media. Very, very cool.
You're famous, Josh.
Elroy wants to know, going 33s on Turbo S 2021, do I need clutch work?
No, that car's fine with 33s. It came with 32s, so it's not enough of a change. I would probably leave it alone. If you do engine work, then you probably need clutch work. Not just for the tire, though. Good buddy.
I got nothing.
Really? You don't even have any more trucker trims. You're not a real trucker.
They're all done. I mean, there was one about something brown. You already know what that is.
No, what is that?
UPS.
What is it?
There's definitely no UPS drivers on the side of the race course.
What is it called, though? What was the term? Is it brown down?
Yes, brown down. Is there any brown down?
A broken UPS?
A broken UPS truck. That's so specific. That's great.
What's a lot lizard?
A lot lizard.
Yeah.
Is that like a mud crate? Yeah, truck rat.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I heard.
I have never experienced one.
A friend of mine told me that once.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Steve.
What do you think
big good buddy.
What do you think of the Pro R's rear trailing arms? Extra rod running through them in almost an X.
Yes. I think they're badass. That rod running through the trailing arm is controlling toe, just like the third radius rodder or toe link does in a Can-Am. So one of the reasons why that car doesn't have the toe problems of a Pro, a Pro XP, or the toe problems in the back like a Turbo S. So they're clearly addressing some of that and fixing some stuff. I think it's great. We will have parts for that
very soon.
I would say within 15 to 30 days of us having that car. We actually have quite a few things already in the works.
If you were to go that on miles, would you say about a yardstick away?
Yardsticks in the mud.
In the mud? Yardstick in the mud?
Yeah, clearly. Off-road. Mitch.
Nick, it's not really a question, more of a statement like Steve would, but brought my X3 to you guys in September and had the dual rate spring kit installed and RIS. Best upgrade to my machine to date. Great job, guys. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much for taking the time to say that.
you.
Really appreciate that. We think it rides great, and I'm glad that you do too. So I think your questions are running out of frequency, right? Going down, bat out.
We're going down without air brakes.
Which means that we are calling an end to this route.
Oh, we're going down without air brakes, everybody. Breaker 19er. If you're looking to buy anything off the website, please visit www.shocktherapyusa.com or call in at 623-217-4959.